And leadership is everything. We have to understand this. Leadership is everything. The kind of leader you choose to lead you determines the kind of country that you live in. We keep talking about, other foreign countries where everybody is running to. It's not rocket science. The reason why those countries are attractive to us is because there's order. There's lack of chaos. If you set your alarm clock with your electronic alarm clock plugged to, your socket, you can guarantee that alarm clock will go off at the right time because you have 24-hour supply of electricity. We talked about Nigeria earlier on, relying on about 4,000 megawatts for over 200 million people. How is your industry going to grow if you are only generating 4,000 megawatts? That will not even power 20 cassava milling factories. So definitely you can never be an industrialized nation. And if you're not industrialized, you can't employ labor. If you can't employ labor, you cannot produce. If you cannot produce, you cannot export. If you do not export, your GDP will not grow. So inflation will come in because you are consuming. I'm not an economist, but this is just common sense. And I at times I'm perplexed why people who are in the right positions don't understand and see what we as common people see. It's not rocket science. So what are they doing holding those positions that they are holding? A foreign government will ensure that they have a welfare system. So if you're a taxpayer, you are a citizen of that country, and you are sick, you will go to a state-run hospital and you will get adequate care, and you will not pay a penny. If you have an accident, you can call a number and an ambulance will come. You are in your house, you're going to have water, you're going to have electricity, as long as you're paying your bills. And if perchance you lose your job and you have been a taxpayer, you have been working, the state also has a package to help to deal with your pains while you are looking for work. All of these things are what government is supposed to do. They are supposed to use the wealth of the country to guarantee this minimum standard. The taxes that we pay. In Nigeria, I ask, what do they do with the money? People are marrying their third, fourth wives, buying the fourth, fifth house in Dubai, in Paris, and in California. They are buying private jets. They are buying, we're engrossed in the pursuit of amassing wealth, but we don't even know why we are amassing the wealth or what we are going to do with it. So I often think that we are all mad because, a person who is just amassing wealth, and then when you die and they will start to find, euros and dollar notes buried in your wall, in your sock away, in all kinds of places, and they've all gone moldy because they were just locked there for decades. You never had a plan how to use all of this money, but you were amassing it, and you couldn't take it to a regular bank because you could never explain the source of that wealth. So to me, it's just madness. If you are taking all that money and go to your village and set up a health center, or build a very good school, or do the road to your village, or do something with all that money you were just hiding and amassing. So for me, there's the type of leadership we have, they've always displayed some type of psychological imbalance as far as I'm concerned. Yes, in Nigeria, we believe that you're only mad when you remove your clothes and you're walking on the street. But I assure you, there are many, many mental people who are wearing suits, tie, agbada, looking nice. Some, women as well who are wearing makeup. But I think there's a lot of madness in all of us. So we need to leadership. Leadership is very important. Jokes apart, we need to have the right leaders in the right places, and we are able to choose. There is excess. We have excess talent in Nigeria. We have excess capability. The problem is that the political process to emerge in that process is very rigorous. And those who have been there make it rigorous like that to make sure that only a certain type of person will succeed and come out to be a candidate. It's deliberately engineered to make sure that the right thinking people don't make it to that position. They either scare you, they either threaten you, or either try to seize your mind by making sure that you belong to certain groups or certain associations or certain societies, so that before you can progress. So at the end of the day, if you're already bondaged and mortgaged, how are you going to do effective work? So these are the constraints and the problems about emerging politically. It's so rigorous, so financially demanding. How ridiculous is it that if you are offering yourself to come and serve the people, you have to also pay for your nomination form? By the time you are paying and bribing and paying and doing campaigns, and you are buying so much campaign material, when you get there, what do people really expect the average human being who has spent so much money? What do you expect him to? He has to recoup. This is the truthful, honest situation.
Do you know that telling a story is one of the most powerful ways to connect with your audience? Do you know that the human brain processes story much more easily and quickly than facts and figure? Stories are a great way to engage your audience, get them interested in your products and services, and inspire them to take action. A good story will help you create more compelling content that can be shared on social media or through other channels. And it's not just about telling a compelling story, it's also about knowing how to tell it effectively. Now, do you want to better connect with your audience? Then join us on our online training class, Storytelling for Content Creators and Digital Entrepreneurs. Come to obehi1food.com/storytelling and learn how to leverage your storytelling skill to earn more as a content creator and digital entrepreneur. Storytelling is a powerful way to connect with your audience, so let's explore it together. See you in the class.
Some people sell their houses to be engaged in the process of politics. Now you see a man like that, he makes it, having sold his house. Don't you expect that he should recoup his money? So there are certain things that are part of the political process that makes it difficult for people to become effective leaders. So I encourage those people, like I said, who are not career politicians, who have a source of living already, so they can withstand the requirements. They don't have to compromise themselves because they're already earning a living. They are not desperate. I encourage such people to get involved in politics. It's very difficult, I know. It's very difficult. But if we love Nigeria, we will make sacrifices. Same way I have decided I'm going to make sacrifices. And I pray that my political aspiration is blessed by God. And I look forward to also making my own contribution.
Thank you so much for that. That is really very important. And we also need to know, the regular Nigerian and the average Nigerian, that it is going to be hard. It is difficult. You see, the little chick that is inside the egg, know that it is difficult to break the egg shell before it can live. But if you don't break the egg shell, you are going to die. Change is always hard. Change is difficult. Change is a sacrifice. And if we are not ready to make the sacrifice, change is not going to happen. So we are going to remain where we are in a circle. But if we want to change that part, instead of maybe somebody coming to give you 20 naira or maybe a bag of rice that has become the national item in Nigeria for you to vote for them, you need to really sincerely ask yourself, if this person have to supply bags of rice to, I don't know, maybe 1 million people, like you said, where is he getting the money from? Sincerely speaking, if this person eventually spend this money to distribute bags of rice, is he going to recuperate the money or is he just dashing you the money? If he give you this bag of rice, do you have the moral right to call this individual to order? In this sense, it is a responsibility for everybody. The corrupt politician is responding to the corrupt Nigeria. Both parties are corrupt. It's just like James Allen was saying in one of his book, that the slave and the enslaver are tied by one thing, the chain. If the slave is not tied to the enslaver, then the slave is free. The only way the enslaver can be free actually is to free the slave. Because you cannot tie him to the tree. You tie him to your leg. So it means both of you are in chain. In this sense, the Nigerian politicians are corrupt because the Nigerian people are corrupt. Both of them are involved by this chain of corruption. So it is the Nigerian people now that are suffering more, of course, because they don't have the forces of cohesion. It is the politicians that have the army, the police, everything under their control. So it is true that if we want to break up from this chain, from this corruption, we need to pay sacrifice. We need to accept that we are not going to eat today because we want change. We want to be able to eat tomorrow. If we do that, the people that are running Nigeria, like Osaramore will say, there are very few people, but they are really holding the country with their teeth. They don't want to let it go. They can do anything to make sure it remains the way it is. But this is as long as the ordinary Nigeria remain the way they are. If we decide that we don't want it anymore, we come to the street. If we march to Aso Rock, the people in Aso Rock will run away. That is the basic psychology of the human being. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka. If the Nigerian people decide today, as we are currently talking, that they are tired, they are really tired of it, those in Aso Rock will run away. Because how many people are the Nigerian army going to kill until the world said, no, you cannot do this? You cannot do that. The police, how many people are they going to shoot? They are going to be tired of bullets. But the question is, are we ready? Are we really ready for the change? Not just the talk. Are we really ready? That we really are tired of it? And this is the end. You kill me now, or you run the system the way it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
I think the Nigerian people need to make the decision.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Change begins with us. I keep saying this. Change begins with us. As you correctly identify, corruption is a two-way street. The one who offers the bribe and the one who takes it. They are all in concert with each other. So while we as the masses, we complain about the politicians, but the bribe that they are giving is taken by us. So when we take money to cast our votes, we have sold our rights for the next 4 years. And I think this is what people don't understand. You sell your votes, and then you still expect the person to work to your dictates to give you a better life. He gave you a better life at the polling booth. And that was supposed to last you for 4 years. And then in between the 4 years, you're asking for him to give you more. He's already done his contract with you. It is renewable in the next 4 years. And so for that 4 years, you'll be suffering and smiling, as Fela says. So we need to understand that we need to make sacrifices in the morning so that our evenings will be comfortable. And this is what I think the average Nigerian is beginning to understand, that they are also part of the problem and that they should also be part of the solution.
Thank you so much for that. All right, you are in this race because you believe in something. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So,
True.
Because you believe in something, tell me, what do you see 2023 going forward? What is your vision for this country, for this state, Edo State, and for your people?
My vision has always been for a better Nigeria. My vision has always been for a Nigeria that I experienced when I was growing up. And it's for this reason that I have made the sacrifice to return to Nigeria. I haven't lived abroad for many years. I decided that I will make a sacrifice. It wasn't enough to just be talking and criticizing. So at a time where people were leaving Nigeria to go abroad, I left abroad and I've come to Nigeria to be with the people, to experience what it is that they experience. We're all in this thing together. We all have to make sacrifices. So I say to people that a better Nigeria is achievable, but change begins with each of us. Every one of us, no matter how small, we have the duty, we have the obligation to make the necessary sacrifice, to say no when no should be said, to say yes when yes should be said. We should be resolute, we should be determined, and should have and display honesty of purpose. And I think if each and every unit is doing what they are supposed to do collectively as a whole, there will be a very noticeable change. So I pray that we understand this simple formula, that each and every one of us, if we make a difference in our environments, wherever we are, collectively, there will be a big and noticeable change.
Thank you so much for that. Is there any other thing you would like to say to conclude the conversation? I've asked you most of the things I wanted to ask you. If you have anything to add to it, please go.
Yeah, I want to say that Nigeria is a blessed country. But even when God blesses you, you must collect your blessings. So it behoves on every Nigerian to think seriously about not only their future, but on the legacy they are going to leave behind and the future they are bequeathing to the generation yet unborn. It will be selfish for us to consider only ourselves, our wants and need at this current time. Because if our forefathers had also behaved with reckless abandon, the way we seem to be behaving now, we would not have had the Nigeria that we have had. We're on a rescue mission. We all need to work collectively. We need to work honestly. We need to work in harmony for the greater good of all. We must shun greed and selfish self-interest. We must ensure that we put Nigeria first and to display a high sense of patriotism. With all of these and God blessing our project, I foresee a better Nigeria in the nearest future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been an honor talking with you. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Obey.